Oh, hey, this is Joel Haver here. What was the question?
At the end of the day, if the pasta is the thing I'm remembered for, you know, at least it was tasty.
We're at Safeway. It's where I'm gonna get all the ingredients I need. We're talking peppers, wrinkly like my father's balls, onions, tomatoes, maybe some, we probably have spices back at the place. So just tomatoes, peppers, onions, maybe a little jar of sauce, pasta, cheese maybe. Let's go check it out. How you doing?
I'm doing alright, just another day at work. How are you two doing today?
Doing good. Having a nice weekend.
Awesome. I'm about to start my weekend. Today's my last day before my day off.
Oh yeah, that's great. Pasta for the boys. Look at all this pasta. Oh my God. We had so much pasta here this whole time. So this is my cousin's house. I'm visiting in Seattle and I'm here alone for a couple days. And Noah, who's behind the camera here, came to visit. He's a friend of mine who moved to Seattle, the Seattle area. And we're having a great time. We're making pasta. We're loving life. What else is there to say? A Dutch oven is your best friend. Now, if I was working in a professional kitchen where they do professional food, I think the health code inspector would come in and shut down the place. Not because I'm dirty, not because I got mouse poop everywhere, because it's illegal to make food looking this good. Here we go. Italian seasoning, you can't go wrong if it says Italian on it. That's about as technical as I get here.
I learned how to make pasta probably in middle school, high school. And by that I mean like actually making the sauce myself. I'm sure I could have figured out how to boil water.
My dad cooked this sauce all the time, but he just did it with onions and green peppers. And over the years, as I've made this an obnoxious amount of times, I kind of modified it. And I've tried different peppers. I was like, oh, let's try one with a yellow pepper and an orange pepper and a red pepper. And eventually I'm just like, wait, I like all of these. So I started throwing them all in and hey, it's yummy.
Pasta is, I don't want to say anything too deep, I just think it's cheap. Pasta's just cheap.
Now I was talking to this big old Italian guy, and he used to say, oh, Marone, you're taking the stickers off the pepper, that's the best part. And I'm like, you don't eat the fucking stickers, you big Italian bastard.
I started the pasta post in college. I was living with on campus with my roommate Avery.
We just took the first picture randomly because we thought it was funny. Then we took the second one, and then soon enough we were like taking them every time we ate pasta. And eventually it kind of just dissolved and my Instagram just became pasta pics. And that was 6 years ago, September 1st, I think, 2015 was the first picture. And it started off just as a random funny idea, but I'd say over the years it's kind of been comforting because I always say, like, social media can be such a, this is so cliche to say, but it's true. It can be such a poison on your mind. And you know, if you could give yourself something like that where you know what you're gonna post. You don't have to think about posting. You don't have to worry about likes and comments and sharing. You know, it's literally just all I post is me eating pasta on Instagram. I never have to think about anything else. And that's kind of a nice, comforting thought.
So over pasta, it's quick, it's efficient. You get the peppers, onions, tomatoes, throw it into a big thing.
It started off as just an easy thing. It was the one thing I really knew how to cook because I did it a lot with my dad. But then I had a very unique situation in New York where once I was living in the apartment, so I guess I'll backtrack a little. So my dad had this friend Carl who was a wealthy New Yorker. He had quite a bit of money. And you know, my family's never been that well off. My dad, my mom, we're kind of lower middle class, you know. And my dad built a kitchen for this guy, Carl. And it was like, you know, a big job, early 2000s, I think 1999 into 2000 is when they first started. And then for some reason, my dad, who's this goofy small town cabinet maker, hit it off with this like wealthy New York intellectual who lived right next to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And they just became like best friends. And you know, for the better part of probably 13 years, my dad would always go to the city and visit Carl. We would go and see Carl. He became like one of our uncles. He was just such a great guy, and he was there was no one else like him. He was so intelligent, but he was never like condescending about it. He would meet everyone like halfway, or not even halfway. He would just meet people at their level and just talk to them like a human rather than like needing to show them up. So I think they were both these people, my dad and Carl were these people that could talk to anyone, be friends with anyone, and then they, you know, it was like a perfect meeting of the minds when they met. So in 2011, Carl passed away of cancer, and my dad was like, for that whole year, my dad was like by his side. He was like in New York for a good chunk of the year, and he was there when Carl passed away, I believe. And Carl left my dad and us the apartment to stay in, and for some reason they sold his old one and bought us a different one to stay in. But we had this apartment for 9 years in the Upper West Side. So then I went to college in the city, and I just had this super nice multi-million-dollar apartment I could live in, which was like the best gift in the world. And this is all a really long way to say I was living in a really nice apartment, but I didn't have any money because I was doing like an odd freelance job here and there, but mainly just focusing on creating. And yeah, I was broke pretty well the whole time. So pasta kind of became a mainstay for me because pasta is dirt cheap. It's dirt cheap to just make a crap ton of it. You know, I would make a huge batch, probably even bigger than this, and just eat it for 2 meals a week, you know, at 2 meals a day for a whole week. And probably not the healthiest, but you know, there's veggies in there. I had protein in there. So yeah, pasta was like a mainstay for me just because it was cheap and I could make a lot of it. But it was also another element where it was like the perfect social food because it's one of those foods that most everyone likes. You know, you don't find many people who don't like pasta. And I liked having a lot of friends over. So, you know, I didn't have a lot of money, but I wanted to have these big gatherings and I wanted to treat those people to food. So it was just logical. You just buy a bunch of boxes of pasta and make a huge batch of sauce. Worked every time. And you'll see in my Instagram pictures, there's quite a number of them in the apartment, and a lot of those were big gatherings with a lot of friends. And for years, the goal was to have my friend Avery in all the pictures because he was my roommate who I started doing the pictures with. But over time, him and I just saw less and less of each other. We're still friends, but I think he's in Spain now, actually, so it'd be even harder. So I eventually let that go, and I'm like, it could just be when I make pasta for anyone. It doesn't, you know, we don't have to. One of them, you'd have a hard time finding it, but one of them I photoshopped Avery into it, so that's a little secret you could try to dig for. He's hidden in a crowd of people. But as far as cooking goes, it's pretty well just random, you know. I don't have much technique. Throw everything in one pot. Even if you have meat, you add that to the same pot. And then just put some salt, put some seasoning, and cook it until it's all yummy yummy. The sauce is just as good if it's just veggies and tomatoes all mixed into one. But I do, sometimes it's a cheat code, you add a little jar of sauce like ragu or Francisco Rinaldi sweet tasty tomato. The best jar of sauce in the world is Francisco Rinaldi sweet and tasty tomato. Every store I go to, they have Francisco Rinaldi, they don't got the sweet and tasty. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they would discontinue their best sauce. Sometimes you'll go to a store, you'll get lucky. Here, looks like we're on the, looks like we've made it to the West Coast here, and looks like they don't have Francisco Rinaldi at all. They might be brain dead out on the West Coast, but that's okay. I've run out of stuff to say, but the pasta still has probably a good 15 minutes left till it's ready, so I guess we're just gonna sit in silence, you and me.
When was the first time you had pasta?
I have no idea. I probably ate mac and cheese as like a 2-year-old, probably a 1-year-old even. I don't know the first time I had pasta. I could talk about some of the best pasta I've had, and it's mine, and mine.
Well, the photography side, I've never taken one of those pictures myself. It's actually a hired professional.
You know, Brad Pitt follows me on Instagram. He might see and get a couple ideas. Maybe you'll wind up in the background of World War Z 2. Don't get your hopes up, but keep your dreams high. So this is my classic. I just do a red sauce with vegetables. It's easy. It's nice, tomato sauce. But I have made some other sauces in my day. I make a really good vodka sauce, which I think is delicious, but it's a little more divisive among people. Most people are just like, just make the red sauce, who tried it, so maybe I'm wrong. But I also did one of my best and probably the tastiest pasta I do is a carbonara, which is, bacon, egg, parmesan all tossed in the pasta and it all cooks together. It's just delicious. And I haven't done that in a while because I'm vegetarian now. But I'm sure I could get imitation bacon and it would be very similar. So I should try that again because that's yummy. Oh, we didn't get cheese. I think there might be some cheese in the fridge. I hope you put a title card on this that says cheese checked and you play some intense music. Because this is when we find out if we have cheese to put on this pasta. Best I could do for you? Some string cheese. So take a look at this. You see this? See all those onions and peppers cooking together? It's kind of getting to the point where you could add in the tomatoes, just like this. Oh, look at that. Now this, on its own right now, you cooked out a little, add spice and seasoning as needed. That's probably the most delicious the sauce gets. But like I said, add the cheat code. It makes it a little sweeter. It adds volume. No one's gonna judge you, except yourself and God. But when's the last time I listened to either of them? You know what I'm saying? Needs a little spagooky. Okay. This is where I might lose some fans. I know some people, they're like, put the pasta in. Forget it, I'll put it in. We'll do a whole box. You ever hold in a knife and you get those invasive thoughts that are like, cut something, stab yourself. You ever do it and you kind of scare yourself and you put it down fast? Not because you think you're gonna do it, but just because you're like, ugh, I don't like that. I'm not usually a low and slow kind of guy. You know, a lot of people have like medium low heat and they cook it for like an hour or two. I'm more of a fast guy. I cook it on high. You get bubbles, it's blowing everywhere. But it cooks fast, and at the end of the day, cooking low and slow is not gonna change that much because everything tastes better the next day. I'm gonna be honest, you put a sauce in the fridge, it's gonna congeal either way. Doesn't matter if it's low and slow. All those flavors are gonna come to life. Your pasta tastes even better as leftovers. That's just a cold hard fact. I hate to break it to you guys, but I'm not gonna lie to you either. This is about as close to done as you're gonna get. You see all those peppers and onions, tomatoes. Oh, that's all looking delicious. This is gonna be perfect. Mamma mia, you're gonna love this. That's good. Take a little olive oil, put it in the pasta. Apparently keeps it from sticking together and stuff. I don't know. I ain't a scientist, I'm a chef. People always say, hey, you want to set a timer for that pasta, Joel? Hey, I just saw you put pasta in, you want me to set a timer? What do I need a timer for? I got nature's timer. It's called check if it's al dente or check if it's done. That's done. A bowl, you can never go wrong. A bowl, it holds it all in, blah, blah, blah. But if you have a long pasta, like a linguine, a spaghetti, a fettuccine, a plate is better. Because you have more surface area, more places to twirl. When I'm all set up in the future with my own house, I'll probably take up making some homemade pasta too, because why not take it that extra step? Now a lot of people don't know this. Usually the best cheese to put on pasta is shredded cheese, not squares of cheese. A lot of people make that mistake. They say, hey, I'm gonna put square shapes on my pasta. That's not normal. Now you want the full Joel pasta experience? Then we're gonna have Joel dictate how much sauce you get. Want the full pasta experience? There we go. See that? That's perfect. Life is not more complicated than that. Life is not more complicated than putting the right amount of pasta on your goddamn, fucking whatever. Let's eat. Okay, time to take the pasta picture. I hate doing this. I hate taking these pictures so much. I hate this. Okay, you ready? Have the flash on. 3, 2, 1. That's the one.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Now, do you eat the pasta?
No, it's just for decoration. I usually will go buy Taco Bell or something. Are you staying here? I thought you were just here for the video.
See you later, Joel. Thanks.
Huh? Oh, sorry. I was looking online. I have a bunch of Instagram videos.